You know what time it is. I made a vow to you guys, and I sort of cut that. There's a third one that should be about to hit that you'll see I actually did last night, but that's still one missing. But today I'm going to give you back to back to back because that's what I owe. Now, let's talk about it. A lot of things went awry in the scene. What happened to the shell casings? So, to my understanding, it was weaponry consistent with an MP5. How did they avoid having the shell casings drop? So you're telling me these guys came with weapons that were semi-automatic and they had a shell catcher attached to it? Only footage would really tell something like that, right? But you're saying these same guys were the ones that were responsible for taking out XxxTentacion, that literally one of them was filming them right before the incident went down as stated by the witness. Now these things are disturbing. Not only are they disturbing, but it plays a game of who can you trust? Who can you really trust? You know what I mean? Like, these authority tell us that they're here to protect and serve, yet the information shows shaky. Then the incident, and I mean, again, let me reference the issue that I mentioned when we talked about a witness named Victor. And you could check that out if you haven't seen it. A witness named Victor. Literally, Victor, you claim that you seen these guys jump out and start shooting, and then they told X to get out. That's another mistake I forgot to mention. And I mean, it was easy to go over it and not really mention it. How did you tell him to get out, but he was sitting perfectly in the car with his both legs inside? That makes no sense. Listen, even if you're saying he got hit, the force from the gun would not sit him perfectly in the car. That doesn't make sense. That literally contradicts everything. It's because if someone gets hit by such force, especially if he was pinned in from the back and the front, he'd definitely be held in place. It makes no sense. There's a lot of contradictions to the picture that's being drawn. Now, this is simple mathematics for any investigator to look at and see this. Why are these ones, for this specific case, so dull and dumb? Why are you so dumb? You don't see that this makes no sense? Oh, I forgot. You guys are the ones producing the evidence. You guys are the ones delivering it. Laying down the indictments. Oh, man. Listen, we all make mistakes. I made a mistake yesterday. And I lost someone that was important to me. Though I'm the type of guy that doesn't really give up until it's all said and done. But at the same time, if that's her wishes, that's her wishes. But at the same token, we have to stand for our mistakes. We have to stand a parent. And even if you think it's too late, you got to say what you need to say. And that's what it's about. So even though we're deep into this case and you got 4 men that are being indicted, it's okay for you guys to double back and say you made mistakes. That's okay. It's okay for you to say you looked at the scene, you thought it was something, but it was really something else. That's fine. Just do not let the true masterminds escape. Don't let that happen. And now, after more, let's say, perusing over the evidence, drop a new word, perusing, I actually think that I begin to understand the picture, and putting together some of the other videos I made is starting to all make sense. You guys, you did bad investigation. Was there a passenger or not? Why aren't there shell casings on the scene? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's not sensible. That's not even normal. That's not the normal happening of things. Listen, you're telling me that this individual or these guys jumped out the whip and started unloading, took a bag, and sat him back perfectly in the car before driving off, if you gave me that, I guess I could accept that to some extent. If his legs were hanging out and he was laid down and they sat him in. Although, shouldn't you have those fingerprints? Where's the fingerprints at? These are all topics that I know how normal forensic investigation goes. Where is the spatter? So I get hit, allegedly close range with an MP5. There's not going to be any blood spatter. It's going to perfectly hit me. Now, let's say you want to double back and say they use revolvers. Okay, you'd answer the shell casing incident. But you can't tell me that would be a more gruesome scene. So you can't even say that now. So why are you sitting there playing with the evidence like it's a game? Play with it. Let's say this, let's say that. Let's not do any real research. Let's say we caught them with flakka on them. Like, what's the game? What's the game? Because my commenters aren't dumb. I'm not dumb. And from what I was able to see, we all could come to some type of agreement. It looked like more of an overdose than anything. So even not playing with the Tentacion's alive theory, it looked more like an overdose of some sort. And one commenter, comment your name and re-say it again, said that they closed up and his lips looked a different color. I didn't even notice that. You know, I'm not looking at no other man's lips. I'm looking at his neck area and his chest area where he allegedly got shot. I'm like, I don't see nothing. The witness Victor was in such a hurry that he couldn't stop to put the makeup on him before he did the picture. I'm not understanding this. I'm not getting that. There's a lot of in and outs. There's a lot of gray and blacks. But the one thing I know for sure, there was no red. And I don't care how tough you are. There's no way that someone gets shot without there being any type of damage. Now, here's what's interesting. In the video where there was a quick snippet of one of the suspects on Instagram or something like that, videotaping him right before the incident, there was a man leaning in the window. Who was that? Who was leaning in that window? So you're going to tell me he allegedly swiftly used a freaking MP5 and shot him? There was nothing in his hand. From what I knew, he was leaned in the window. And let me draw that back. His right arm, his right hand was not visible. And X seemed more disturbed than anything. See, people say he looked scared. Nah, he looked like he was looking like, who is you? And looking at the other guy in the car like, what's this? So the fact that y'all approached him right before this happened, it's hard for me to understand it went down like the witness said. Like I said before, the only things I believe is that someone did run from the car, and that in this situation also, one of the guys that were authority or some type of manner had to be on go because we don't have a 911 call. And trust me, you could try and fabricate that. That's going to be hard. That is going to be hard to fabricate a 911 call. So what's in my mind is that the witness allegedly running in maybe allegedly used his cell phone to call, but way after it happened. So my question would be, what was the time of death for him? And you'll have that information. If an autopsy was complete in a substantial amount of time, you should have that information locked down. My next thing is, knowing that part of it, excuse you guys, early morning, looking at that part of it and understanding that the autopsy should tell the time of death. What was the cause of death? What was in his system before being deceased? Now, this happens for every single person that gets, it doesn't matter if they die of natural causes. You do these type of tests. We need to know. I think that's something that should come out first, because I don't think that no type of weapon was shot at X. I don't think that. There's no way. There's no way you show me a clean picture and then you're saying, oh, he was shot. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. There was not one bullet that grazed his body. I don't think that was the cause. Yet you pick up two guys with Flocka on them. And we know with hard drugs such as this, a little bit of fentanyl could cause an overdose. And if there were pills being used similar to other artists we've seen in the game that have allegedly overdosed, we know how simple it is. So you cannot play with this theory no longer. I'm searching for facts. I'm searching for a clear understanding. There's no way to play with this case any longer. You guys have to produce the evidence that's circumstantial to lead us to say this is possibly why he looked the way he did. Or you have to retract some statements, because I'm telling you, there's no way he was shot like that. There's no way. And I know I had a lot of people come on here and was like, yeah, he did. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Y'all, XxxTentacion wasn't shot. If anything, he was shot after the fact. I don't believe that's what took him out. I don't believe that's the cause of death. That was not the cause of death. Always objectively. But we got more on the way. And you know how I rock. All rights reserved.